First, let's take a quick look at absolute values. We've defined it earlier. The absolute value of a positive number is the exact same number. The absolute value of a negative number is positive 5, because we take the negative number and multiply it with negative 1, and that's how we get a positive number. So the basic definition of absolute value of x is it is equal to x if x is greater than 0. If it's positive, then the absolute value of x is the exact same number. If x is 0, then absolute value of 0 is 0. And if x is less than 0, which means if x is negative, we have to make it positive. So remember that x is negative. We make it positive by taking the negative of the negative number. And this is the definition of the absolute value of x. Now let's look at a basic equation. So let's see. The absolute value of x equals 7. So what does that mean? If you think about it, the absolute value of 7 equals 7, and the absolute value of negative 7 is also equal to 7, which means that x can be equal to plus 7 or minus 7. So there are two answers here. X could be equal to plus 7 or x could be equal to negative 7. So if absolute value of x is, let's say, a 5, then x is equal to plus or minus 5. What does that mean? X is either equal to plus 5 or minus 5. Now what if you get an equation absolute value of x equals negative 3? Is this even possible? When you take the absolute value of a number, whether it's positive or negative, there is no way that the absolute value of a number is a negative number, which means that there is no solution to this equation. So solution does not exist. You cannot find an x, because if x is a positive number, for example, you get a positive 5. If x is a negative number, you get a negative of a negative 5, which is a positive 5 again. The answer is always a positive number. So this is impossible, which means there is no solution. Just remember that the absolute value of x being negative, there is absolutely no solution to that. Now, what if I have, let's do one more. Absolute value of x equals half. This means that x is equal to plus half or minus half. Let's look at a slight variation of this problem. Let's look at absolute value of x plus 3 equals 7. Now remember that we are trying to solve for x. We have to get x by itself first. So we subtract 3 on both sides, just like in any other equation. So we get absolute value of x plus 3 minus 3 is a 0, and absolute value of x plus 0 is absolute value of x. 7 minus 3 is 4. Can we solve this equation at this point? The answer is yes. X can be equal to plus 4 or minus 4. Let's look at another equation. Absolute value of x plus 8 equals 6. Let's try to solve for x, which means let's get x by itself. So get rid of 8 first by subtracting 8 on both sides. Absolute value of x is 6 minus 8, which is -2. Can the absolute value of a number ever be negative? That's impossible. Remember this. Absolute value of x can never be equal to no solution, because the absolute value of x can never be a negative number. One more. Suppose the absolute value of x plus 1/3 equals half. So we solve for x, but the first thing we can only do is solve for absolute value of x. We subtract 1/3 on both sides. The 1/3 minus 1/3 is 0. Absolute value of x plus 0 is absolute value of x. And we need to simplify this fraction. You can enter it into your calculator and write your final answer as a fraction. Or you could just take the LCM by hand. So 1 times 3, 2 times 3, multiply and divide by 3. To get a common denominator of 6, multiply and divide, which means multiply the numerator and denominator by 2. And we get 3/6 minus 2/6, and that's equal to +1/6. That's 3 minus 2 whole divided by the common denominator 6. So x is equal to either +1/6 or it could be equal to -1/6.